Back in the day, when I was on Enterprise, I did a lot of adventures. Let me tell you a story about it. Here's a story for you.
Old Fat Phlox, he's a-sitting on a box at the junction, Denobulan Junction.
Starfleet Underground. Every week, we'll take a look at the latest Star Trek news and then check out a current or classic episode of Star Trek.
A cloud headed for Earth, and it kicked the Klingons' ass. Only Enterprise is in range, but the refit is untested. Just beam on over. What could go wrong? McCoy was drafted, Spock was drawn to perfect logic, and Kirk takes control from Decker, whose ex just showed up, and V'ger's getting ghosted by the Creator.
Seriously? I mean, they killed all of our communications because they want more episodes of Old Fat Phlox. All the dots did that.
We don't have any comms?
No, the dots think that Old Fat Phlox is the creator and they want to touch the creator. He was here last couple of weeks ago. You had a chance to touch him then. Why now? Why?
I think his wife has issues about them touching him.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants those type of connections.
No. And wait, where the hell did you get that padding all around your stomach? Your midsection, because dots don't have stomach. What is that? What do you mean you're looking like your hero, Old Fat Phlox?
Mm-hmm.
And you're in a rocking chair?
That's something to see, a dot in a rocking chair.
Yeah, and he's got some sort of midriff belly thing going on. And they're playing the song. I don't even know if Old Fat Phlox has got a second season.
I hope so. I
don't think it has a first season, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, but somehow the dots found it.
No, they just binge watched the whole first season.
The dots have it all. So, Patrick, looks like you're going to have to reprogram everything and try to get these dots to behave themselves.
Watch out, they physically want to connect with their maker.
Next.
Also, your work order was approved. So you should have a new office, fully outfitted with everything.
Aren't you funny?
So do you like it?
You're just hysterical.
The way real life intertwines with our little podcast.
So you don't like your new office?
Can I have it then?
I'll take it. I could use a better office.
I must not have seen it on the ship.
It is on the ship. When you get a chance after the podcast, go see it. Mm-hmm. It's actually quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's spacey and roomy and everything. Mm-hmm. What? What do you mean Old Fat Phlox has the red light on? No, that's just normal.
Sir, the show started.
Okay. Thanks, everybody, for joining us for another episode of Starfleet Underground. And just to let you know, if you're under the age of 18, you're not supposed to listen to us, so don't listen to us. If you really want to listen to something funny, go find Old Fat Phlox and listen to that show. If you find it out there on the internet, we'd be really curious if you do. So just send an email to us at thecollective@starfleetunderground.com.
Please, our tribbles need more, our dots need more, everyone needs more of it.
Yes, we do. We have our full crew complement today. There's myself, and I think I have what is that thing called? Denobulan Flu? Some sort of weird flu I get.
Oh, you got the Denobulan Flu.
Yeah, I was on an ambassador mission because Patrick was doing some computer work, and they greeted me with a tongue.
Ew.
Before I could do anything, and I think I caught something from them.
Yeah.
That's one hell of a greeting.
Yeah, and it was really weird because their tongue split in two. You know how weird that feels?
Right down your throat.
Oh.
At least it was down your throat, not up your ass.
I was going to say, there's some comments about down your throat.
Yeah, that wasn't fun.
I heard meeting them was an experience. Now I know why.
That wasn't fun. And we have our science officer.
Hi, I'm Heather Ferris.
The best in the fleet.
Thank you, Captain. I'm the science officer. I know the dots and the tribbles would not agree with you about being the best in the fleet because I experiment on them, Captain, and
she can't cook.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes my experiments work just as well as my cooking.
That's true. She can't, unfortunately. So.
Oh, Fat Phlox. I have that stuck in my head.
See, now you've been watching it.
Yeah,
You've been watching it with the dots.
I watched it.
Oh.
I had to.
Speaking of which, I have my computer guy, my number one. Have you watched Fat Phlox yet?
Of course.
Yeah, I kind of thought so. Everybody's watched it. I need to binge it. So go ahead.
You know the similarities between Petticoat Junction. Anyway, yeah.
And Beverly Hillbillies and, Green Acres. I'm Patrick. I'm number one. I'm the computer guy and the foreign species liaison. And yes, old Fat Phlox is not what it used to be. Not what it used to be.
So that's what he means when he says old Fat Phlox is moving kind of slow at the junction.
Mm-hmm.
Denobulan Junction.
Junction. What's your function?
Oh, my God. And the winner of the O'Brien Award, the guy who really is amazing. No, it's still, there's not voting
it's just
isn't out
generic.
yet.
Yeah, once you win it, you won it.
Yeah, but the voting isn't out for the new season yet, so I'm going to put your name in again.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rocky. I'm engineer of the show and the ship. And old Fat Phlox is a big popular hit on our ship.
It's the newest fad.
The latest craze.
Yes.
Wait. No, stop messing with our comms.
Are they trying to make you sound like a Cylon again? That was something else.
He's trying to, they're trying to mess with the comms so this way the creator of Old Fat Phlox can come back on the ship. Because they want to touch him.
God.
It doesn't sound right.
No, it does not. I tell you what, if you guys behave yourself, put the comms back, we'll try to make it happen. Don't squeal like that. That hurt my ear. Okay. All right.
When the dots are happy, they squeal.
Okay, this show is being brought to you by Old Fat Phlox, as well as our Patreon people and our listeners, and Section 31 as well. Wait, what? What do you mean you don't know anything about Old Fat Phlox and you're Section 31? Well, you guys don't have to know everything. What do you mean you want all our recordings? You're going to have to talk to the dots.
Hey, Captain.
Yeah.
You know that heist we've been wanting to do, but didn't want Section 31 to know?
Yeah.
We should do it while they're binge watching the show.
Oh, that's a thought.
Yes.
007, go give Section 31 the first season of Old Fat Phlox.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so we got things to do later.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
News-wise, well, first, before we even jump into news, with your new shiny office that you have set up, is any corrections?
Let me check subspace here. Nope. We're all clear.
Nice. Okay, Heather, you have any news?
Hi, Captain. So, Jeri Ryan, who plays 7 and 9, is currently filming during the second season of a thriller that is created by George R.R. Martin called Dark Winds. And if you guys want to see this, it's on AMC.
Oh, Or it's on AMC now?
AMC does some amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they do.
I don't know if second season's out yet, but I know Jeri Ryan will be in the second season of Dark Winds.
Anything she's in, I'll watch because she's an amazing actress.
Oh, I love her.
Most of the characters are Native American on that show, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
What's the name of the show again?
Dark Winds.
Dark Winds.
Dark Winds. It's about 2 Navajo police officers in the 70s Southwest.
Oh, thank God. I thought it was about you when you had too many beans. Thank God it's not that.
Very Dark Winds.
Yeah.
And guess who's on it?
Oh, who else?
Rainn Wilson.
Jeri Ryan. Oh,
Really?
sorry.
Wow.
I like him.
Yeah.
He's okay. I'm going to have to watch it as soon as I can get these dots to stop messing with the broadcast. Okay, Patrick, what do you have news-wise?
Well, so for Star Trek Picard Season 3, Terry Matalas said that they're going to be featuring different computer voices instead of the tried and true Majel Barrett Roddenberry voice.
Wow.
So they are saying that they could use a combination of technology and a library for vocal performances that were made before she was passing, but they don't have the right technology and or the budget for that at this point.
It's just quicker and easier just to cast another voice.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the idea that the digitized her voice and she could be talking to us as the computer for ages to come. But it's still a little weird, and and we're just getting used to talking to our appliances. This is still all new to us.
Computer. Hello, computer. Just use the keyboard.
I wonder how they're going to do it and what it's going to sound like. As long as it's doesn't sound like the what you call red alarm, red alarm. I don't want that computer voice.
Red alarm.
So that would not be a good thing.
I like your Cylon voice.
Speaking, I fixed that finally. Oh my God, the dots just went nuts on that. Speaking of a person that has a great voice, Rocky, what do you got for news?
Well, I don't have very much for news, but there's a little hints on Twitter. Speaking of Terry Matalas, you should follow him because there's all kinds of wonderful little hints about Picard Season 3 coming at us. Like somebody asked him, you got any more of those Picard Season 3 trailers with the very addictable meme GIF in there? And he says, I cannot officially tell you all when the final trailer comes out. However, in that quote of I cannot officially tell you when the trailer comes out, there are football emoticons at the beginning and into that sentence.
Ooh, that means you're going to have people, rather than cheering on the football team, they're going to be cheering on the clock for it to hurry up and get to the commercial.
Get to the commercial, hurry.
That's going to be
get to the Paramount spot.
Friggin' amazing. Okay. All right. My news that I had the news over here. The dots just messed with it, trying to get everything done. Oh, yeah. Jerry, who's also been very, very busy, Matalas, makes comments whether or not if we're going to see Enterprise in Picard Season 3. And again, he's doing a very good job of teasing it. So it's going to be, guess what? Guess what class?
Booty class.
No.
The Dominion or the
Delta class.
Sovereign class. It's going to be the Sovereign class. The Sovereign class is to borrow from Austin Powers. It's dead sexy. It's a nice looking ship.
Do I make you horny, baby?
It's a really nice looking ship. So yeah, all my naughty parts are up in arms on this. So this is going to be really
Your
cool.
naughty parts are up in your arms?
Well, he is a, well-endowed gentleman.
Yes, it can reach. Oh, that's right. You didn't see the sword fight Rocky and I had.
Thank God.
It was pretty cool.
Who won?
My eyes probably would have burned out of my head.
Who won?
Oh, Rocky did because he had engineering. He's got these barbs and stuff he installed on the side of it. And it's like, I didn't know we were doing modifications, but he did his. And plus that sound effect just was a crowd pleaser.
Well, when it starts humming like a lightsaber.
Yeah. So, I mean, when it got ready and he unveiled it and you hear, that was it. I was
intimidating.
Done. I was done. Okay, now we got all of our news section. And for those of you who showed up for the movie, I have thoughts on this because watching it back when it first came out, of course, you just love Star Trek. But then once it starts, you realize some things. It's like, motherfucker. Okay.
Well, it'll be interesting to hear Heather's impression of this film.
Yes.
Well, this was the very first Star Trek movie ever.
Yes,
ever.
It was.
I mean, it came out in 1979.
It was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
The only Star Trek people had seen up until that point was the original series and perhaps the cartoons.
When that movie came out, to show you how old I am, I remember going to see it at the theater and paid hard-earned money to be able to see that movie because Star Trek, hello.
Right.
Just loved it. And I missed a lot of parts because, you look at it now you go back and you look at
They're up in your arms
with different lenses. So I have thoughts.
So what was it like in the theaters?
In the theater, everybody cheered and yelled. They had some slow moments, of course. When Spock showed up, people lost their minds when he was in his Kolinar outfit.
Kolinar.
People really lost it on there. And of course,
did you see his hair? Oh my Lord.
Oh God, yes.
It was done Beatles wise. And
he should have been in a hairband.
Someone tried to give him a haircut with their eyes closed.
Yeah, it really was wild. And then of course, all the laughs came with Bones. So he was definitely funny, but it was slow.
Yes.
But we were happy that Star Trek was back on the big screen.
So the original movie, do you guys know how long that was? Because I believe the director's cut, the one we watched, was over 2 hours. It was like 2 hours and 10 minutes or something.
An hour 48 or something.
I don't think it was that long.
I haven't gotten my stopwatches out lately.
No.
Well, should we start this?
Yeah, let's kick this monkey in the tires and get it going.
So we watched Star Trek, the motion picture director's cut. It first aired on December 7th, 1979. Okay, here's the one and only summary for the entire movie. An unknown object is headed straight to Earth, and any ship that approaches it is incinerated. So, of course, Kirk and Spock have to take the job. They survive the first test and communicate with the UFO. They get past the front gates and go down Molly Road, experiencing one hell of a trip. Number one's crush gets kidnapped as Enterprise goes in deeper and meets V'ger's probe. They find out that V'ger is going to Earth to find their creator. Spock slips away and thrusts himself into V'ger's orifice without consent. Spock learns that this living machine wants to know what the meaning of life is. Kirk finally sees V'ger, and it's a spacecraft called Voyager that humans sent out into outer space over 300 years ago. That's what happens when you abandon self-learning AI, and it's been a long, dry voyage. 'Cause let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me.
No.
The Voyager probe, not you. The Voyager probe, I'm sorry.
Are you getting specific? Because I was going to say me.
Okay, let me start over. Voyager probes number one, and we witness an electronical orgasm as they have a baby and leave now that they know what the purpose of life is.
In the book, because I was such a fan of the movie when it first came out, I read the book. And in the book, Decker takes her to her room in order to kind of get her to awaken to her personality. And what was really funny is the probe's like, what are you doing to this unit? Why are you interfacing that way? And I remember laughing so hard because they got down with her in the thing, trying to wake up her personality.
Trying to jostle some memories.
Yeah.
I can't
believe... Of course, that wasn't in the movie, but it was in the book.
I can't believe this story ended with a guy fucking a blow-up doll.
She was based off of the actual person that he had fucked before.
It wasn't a real thing.
She loved him also because you could see the look on her face. Even though she was a probe, she had that.
It's a robot.
Bow chicka wow wow look when she was looking at him.
I have an issue that the moral of this story is the meaning of life is have a baby. Like, get married and have a baby. Like, fuck you.
It's an interesting look at it because you're like, okay, what are the options of life? Okay, create more life or not? What else do we do?
Well, this is something Star Trek in their infinite wisdom never picked up the thread again, because this thing had collective knowledge of the entire galaxies and everything else on its way, and it just like, yeah, fuck you, I'm taking this knowledge with me.
I was like, yeah, okay, you could have come bother me. Fuck you, I'm digitizing your ass.
Yeah.
Send a bunch of Klingon ships. Oh, these guys are annoying. I'm going to digitize their ass.
Now, the thing that gets me, okay, and I didn't notice this the first time I read it and the first time I saw it, that Kirk was a supreme asshole.
Oh, completely. For the whole thing.
I want the ship.
It was amazing.
Fuck you, I'm taking the ship.
Yeah, it was so weird and unnatural. I mean, think about it. It's he's been working, at an admiral's desk for like a decade or however long in between. Someone could probably actually point out the amount of time in between, but he hasn't been back on that starship in a long time. And they just redid the whole fucking thing. The starship's brand new. It's shiny, it's fresh, it's completely redone, and he has no clue how shit works. Yet he's going to come back and take over.
Of course.
For the first part of the movie, every single person he interacts with is giving him a side eye, and you could see, it's like, you could tell they're thinking, damn, you're a dick. Like, how rude.
Yeah.
Well, it's a real weird way to, we've got kind of an emergency. There's this fucking crazy probe craft thing coming over and it's headed right towards us. There's like 30 hours left to go before we can do anything about it. Somebody needs to set up that starship, and the only one nearby happens to be the Enterprise, just about ready to take off on a new voyage, completely redone and ready to go. Oh, who's going to run that? Oh, let's send Admiral Kirk over. Kirk will do it. He'll jump up and volunteer for it.
Kirk will do anything.
And they say he pulled every string in order to get the commander of that ship back. And what was really funny is that he had an attitude because when Decker turned around, when he's talked about when they went to warp, fire phasers. And Decker's like, belay that order. And almost you can see Kirk, motherfucker, you just not contradict my order.
I was really upset at how pissed off Kirk was over this.
He
was. Like, dude, he's in his position to do what he needs to do. That's what your crew is supposed to do. Do what they need to do, especially if you can't figure it out and you're going the wrong direction. They're supposed to be there to say, sir, we need to do it this way. And to act fast in that moment in the wormhole, you're about to crash at the end of the rock at the end of the wormhole. You have seconds to respond. And Decker did absolutely the right fucking thing.
Yeah,
and
he did.
It pissed Kirk off so hard he had to say, you got to come to my quarters and let's talk this shit out.
But you notice that Bones was the wingman for Decker. Bones is like, yeah, I'm coming along too.
Yeah,
because if you say some shit, I'm going to correct you.
Because Kirk was pushing so fucking hard to get this ship going. And because of that, he was rushing everyone. You can't just rush a brand new Starship. You ever try to rush your iPhone to do something right? No, you gotta learn how to make it work right. It's the same thing with a Starship. You just can't hit the go button. You've got to figure out how to make it work right?
And this is why I love McCoy. McCoy turned around. He says, these people are professional. They know what they're doing. You know, and it was great. And I will give Kirk credit. The one thing I will give him credit for is because when Decker explained why you didn't want to fire the phasers and he used it, and then Kirk got real quiet for a second. He goes, you saved my ship.
He's
like, yes, I know that, sir.
Like, you see that?
He's like,
Decker's
you're right.
Yeah. That's what I'm here for, sir.
Stop competing with me, Decker.
Oh my God. Yeah, really, he wasn't competing. And I love the Goo Goo Eyes when Leia came on board, Decker and her, they just had the big Goo Goo. And why did they going to announce, I took a vow of celibacy? Why?
Oh, God. Oh, God.
That's what you need to go back to the book and read about. Deltans are very freaky creatures, I guess.
Yeah,
that's why
that was in the book.
They have lots of pheromones going. Lots of pheromones. That's why even Chekhov turned around and smiled.
Yeah.
That dude wanted to fuck her so badly.
All the guys.
He's like, I am willing to die so I could fuck her.
That's just it. You read the book and they go into this, how fucking horny everybody gets around her because that's just a natural pheromone that she puts out. And you can't get pheromones over a cinema screen, but she can give the Goo Goo Eyes, so that's what you get on the screen.
First
off, this whole movie was so sex related.
Well, yeah, they had to because horny nerds. But what happened is that I know for a fact I would not have a Deltan on board unless they can remove her scent glands or something. Because even she takes a vow of celibacy, people are going to be walking into fucking walls. They're going to be crashing into things.
Oops, I just stepped off the transporter pad while it was beaming.
Yeah.
I just fell off the engineering lift again. What the hell?
Mm-hmm. Now, the only sad part of that, a little bit of sad news, is that the woman that played her died. And not too long after the movie, she had a heart attack and passed on.
Shit.
It was horrible to hear about that.
It really was. But she did a really good job.
She had so much on screen,
charisma.
Yeah, oh, big time. With no hair, by the way.
She definitely did. And she went out with Sylvester Stallone, and she went out with a whole bunch of different celebrities in her prime. And then she had a heart attack, which was sad. But she did a good job being the way you can see Delta. She's like, you left without saying goodbye. And it's like,
dude, it's like, that's cold, man. That's hella cold.
Yeah, it was.
But the music, the romance music. Did you guys love the soundtrack as much as I did?
Yeah, it was nice.
They don't make movies with music like that anymore.
No, I loved hearing it come from your quarters.
It was before there was Bow Chicka Wow Wow. It was la 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 la. You know.
And then Bow Chicka Wow Wow.
Wow.
Well, the one thing that I enjoyed in this, if you watch the very beginning when Kirk is making his speech to everybody, and they have not done this since, but if you looked at the crowds, they had Native Americans, they had different cultures, and their uniforms showed it. They have Native Americans that had headdress, and I thought that was really cool, but they never went back and revisited.
Are you talking about the extras, or are you talking about specific? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Did you know that there were several diehard fans that played as extras in this movie?
Oh,
that's one way to get extras cheap.
Oh my God, yeah. I would do that for free.
Yeah.
Right, totally. Do I get to wear the costume too? Oh, and you're going to put makeup on me?
Right?
I am there. What time do you want me there? 4:30 a.m.?
Seriously.
Okay, I'm there.
Do it.
Let's go be in Star Trek. Fuck it.
Wait, here's my screen presence. No, you weren't there. Yes, I was. Wait, hold on. Okay, split second. Just as the camera moved, you see me for half a heartbeat. There I am.
Yes.
Exactly. I'd even like to be one of the voices in the background saying something like, the torpedoes are ready.
Oh my God, wouldn't that be amazing?
My torpedo is ready.
Yeah, I got a torpedo
Oh
for you.
geez, Patrick.
My torpedo
You know
is
it-
hard. What?
In the behind the scenes, they had a blooper where Kirk and Spock were going to leave to investigate the intruder alert, and the dude's, what was his name, Decker, as soon as they started leaving the bridge, he runs up to the captain's chair and sits down and yells in a Daffy Duck voice, it's mine, at last it's mine, all mine.
Oh, that's funny.
And then
Hilarious.
Shatner turned around and yelled, I take it back.
That's funny. That's really funny.
And
That's funny.
I'm not even going to try to do a Daffy Duck impression because I'm going to butcher that.
It's mine. Mine. Back. Mine.
But almost the whole movie, I believe, until the end, I didn't realize how much of a dick Kirk was.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk really was an asshole all the way through, and McCoy had to keep pulling him back.
Yeah. You got to think about it from his point of view. He's really, he got what he wanted, but he's really not ready for it.
No.
And that's the thing that blows me away. I mean, think about if you had to go back to your high school after 10 years and then run the fucking thing, would that be weird? That would be weird, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go back to college 10 years after the fact. It's still weird. If you ever had the chance to go back to somewhere like that you haven't been to in a long time, it blows your mind away. And now you have to run it. So Kirky's like, okay, now I've got to run this thing. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't have all of my regular crew, although for some reason he seems to have his regular crew on board. You got Sulu, you got Uhura, you got Chekhov. I mean, you got Spock finally shows up and he's got Bones and every one of them, he's like, I need you. He's like, I need you, man.
Yeah, that was really fucked up because he didn't want to go. He's like, a little known clause to reactivate a Starfleet person. He came in, looked like Grizzly Adams with the big beard and everything else.
That was awesome.
I
though.
need
you gotta
you badly.
The comic relief part of that was wonderful.
Yeah, and he just stared at him. You can see the dislike and the hatred in his eyes. It's like, but I need you. And he just keeps staring at him. I need you. And he just keeps staring at him. Seriously,
like, all right,
I
fine.
can't do this without you. Motherfucking asshole. Okay. I'll do it.
That's the bond he has between him and Spock and Bones.
That's what I was going to
Kirk, Spock,
say.
Bones.
Yeah.
There's always that thing where like Kirk and Spock have this like fanfic romance between them. Where's the romance between Kirk and Bones? I need you badly.
You saw the romance right there.
I want that fanfic. I want that fanfic romance novel.
With Disco Bones, with the
With
long
Kirk.
beard and the medallion and the chest hair showing.
With Kirk and Bones. Yeah, with Kirk and Bones together.
Do you know how many chest hairs you can count on fucking
Dude,
McCoy?
I didn't
In the
know.
4K version?
Like, do any of those uniforms open up to show all that freaking chest hair, or is that just like a movie thing? Is that just for this movie? Because there was a lot of chest hair in that shirt.
Well, there was also a lot of there was a lot of moose knuckles as well.
You got to remember the time of
Yes, there were
decade
moose
that was happening. This was 79.
Yeah, there was
into the 70s. So we're just getting out of the disco fray.
Yeah, well,
disco was pretty fucking sexy, right?
I wasn't born.
And then everybody's hairy in the 80s, right?
Well, you had the guy who was watching the suits, the thruster suits. He had the porn stash.
The porn
Spock
stash.
who reached up and he pinched him on the neck, and the guy swear it looked like a porn movie. He was like, oh, before he collapsed on the floor. It's like
another porn stash in Star Trek.
Maybe
like-
that's where they got that actor from. He needed a
Wow.
part-time job from his porn gig.
Wasn't that a wonderful, dude, that would be the greatest extra right there. I just got to stand there and run my console. And next thing you know, I get neck pinched. And then I just go, ugh.
that's what he did.
What a gig.
And then both of them collapse off screen. So it's like, oh, what did they do? You didn't see either one of them.
Who did they do?
Yeah, really. So that was pretty wild for him to go out there and he had an idea and he didn't tell anybody, which again, that's fucked up. You never have a crew member just do shit and not let command know.
Yeah, that was kind of bad. Even Spock, out of all people, Spock's going to go out and just fucking do shit.
Oh, that
just
was
like without permission.
Yeah.
It was kind of the Spock. What the fuck's wrong with you? It's the logic that they had that massive foreshadowing in that scene. It was like, you think he's going to like, you know, if it becomes between the probe and the ship, you think he's going to go in one or the other. I was just like,
is he going to penetrate?
How could you?
He's going to penetrate the orifice.
Like, how could? I mean, even Shatner's like, I couldn't see Spock doing that. It doesn't make any sense.
Spock is such an overachiever.
Yeah. But he's spent the last 10 years trying to rid himself of emotion and go pure logic on it. And he can't because this fucking probe comes through and it's got the signal and it's pure logic and he's sensing it and it's distracting him. It's driving him up the fucking wall. So he's going to come aboard. And of course, he's completely deadpan Spock like normal. He's like, he seems less Spock than he normally would be. It was kind of weird. And then he's just like, he just fucking goes off in his little spacesuit and I'll just go probe the probe.
And
I mean, it probed us. Might as well Vulcan mind probe it.
And once he probes it, he realizes that being logic isn't the end all that he thought it was.
Well, yeah. And that's the thing about having that human half.
Yep.
And I love that part of it is like when they say, is that all that I am? Is there more? And of course there's more. There's other dimensions, you know, there's the imagination of the human mind. You can jump over logic.
Dude, Spock's human half is totally self-sabotaging. For example, when he was knighted at the very beginning of the movie or given the medal of whatever, that was self-sabotage. He's like, nope, I'm not taking the medal. I'm good.
Well, you can't. It's like, no, he's driven so crazy. He can't achieve Kolinar. It's like, I don't deserve this. I appreciate the honesty.
Self-sabotage.
And she just throws it on the ground. It's like,
yeah, right.
She threw it on the ground.
You don't want this. I'm just going to drop it.
Goodness.
That's like dropping the mic.
Yeah.
So like, and he picks it up and looks at it and goes, yeah, we can't sell this shit at conventions. And he leaves it there.
No, nobody gonna buy this.
Nobody's gonna do that. You know, but what's this gets me? He makes it there with the little thingy with the thruster suit, and what happens is that you have your first officer, your chief medical officer, and your captain decide to follow him in when they don't know what really happened.
Yeah. So who's going to take care of the ship?
Yeah, let's go. Spock went, so let's go. It just,
well, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
They're all. It's like
Sulu.
nobody else is working on this, right?
Sulu's taking care of the
Should
ship.
they have a whole bunch of officers in the conference room working on this problem?
Yeah.
It's just Kirk, Spock, Bones, and bring Decker along, and let's go find V'ger.
the rest of the ship is all background.
Yeah, it really is. Did you guys notice that near the beginning when Kirk was talking on the ship, it sort of looked like they put Vaseline on the lens to soften his appearance? Did anyone else notice that?
Yep. They tend to do that also for the women. They used to do that a lot. It was their way without Photoshop.
They did some very interesting focusing
Yeah, put
shots.
Vaseline on stuff.
Yeah, but not for your lens.
TMI.
Yeah, no, they had some very artsy shots. That was one of the things that Bob Wise as a director wanted to do, is give you those artsy little focus shots.
And they did do that. And they made it as artistically beautiful as they could with the way special effects were. Because looking at this in 4K, you could see the special effects shots. You can see, okay, that was a matte. That was a matte. That's a matte screen. Why is this guy spinning around? That's a matte. What is this guy upside down on the
You
thing?
have to remember, Star Wars came out, and then we haven't seen much like this to this quality of all these things. It was like, I'm just trying to imagine when they blow up, when they bring up the Klingons. We have not seen Klingons like this before, let alone with that music. That was da 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 da, and they're ordering torpedo firing and they've got tactical displays. We haven't seen tactical displays before. That shit was fucking cool.
The fact that the Klingons were there and what they did, your attention was so rapt. The fact that the Klingons and how big the ships looked that you forgave the special effect shots.
You never flew that close to a Klingon ship before.
No.
Not without living. Not without not living through it.
No.
It was cool.
No.
And then you hear the sounds of the V'ger, boom, the little laser harp sound that they specifically invented for this soundtrack. That was the coolest sound. You'd never hear that sound anywhere.
And right when it shows the ship too, right? Are you talking about that one where it shows the giant alien ship? And I swear to God, that looked like a giant stingray with like orange, I don't know, virus balls on it or something.
Those got virus balls?
The alien ship, when they approached, it looked like a stingray. And then
it got to Earth?
No.
You get Patrick's attention.
Because I'm talking about balls. When McCoy, Kirk, Spock, and Decker were going up towards V'ger, it looked like they were going up towards the stingray, and then it had balls that looked like viruses on it. But now that I have all of your attention, did you guys know that after this, there was a Star Trek newspaper comic strip? It launched in coordination with this film, and I think it was like 4 days prior to the premiere. And the character Ilya was featured in the first 2 story arcs.
I never read that.
It's basically like the events that took place after the film.
That's something I'd like to read and see.
Yeah, I bet they have that on the internet somewhere.
And I thought I read and saw all things Trek related. It looks like I'm wrong.
There's so much out there.
I really wonder if they're going to bring it in Discovery or Picard or anything, because, again, that was a thread that disappeared. Because joining with Decker, it created basically a new entity.
And it just kind of faded away. Like, what happened? Where did it go?
They made the Q.
We don't know that.
That's where Q came from.
No, we don't know that.
They disappeared in Sparkle Pony. They had Sparkle Pony.
They may have ascended, but we don't know.
Sparkle Ponies.
I'm still a little bit upset because I got the knowledge of all these galaxies and everything. All right, where's the code so I can give you the information? That's the code. Fool you, burnt it. So you're going to have to put it in manually. All right, we put it in manually.
Fried its own antenna.
Yeah,
it's like, you got to come here and punch my buttons.
And now I punch your buttons in. It's like, where's the information? Not going to give it to you because I'm horny.
So the whole point of Voyager was to collect the information and send the information back. Why couldn't Voyager just send that information back via Wi-Fi?
Well, it would take it a couple 100 million years because it transferred.
We didn't have Wi-Fi, I don't think. When Voyager went out.
Radio signal or subspace.
Radio signal.
There's no way to send that. And that's another interesting thing. The design of V'ger, the whoever it ran into to give it its badass upgrades and a massive memory extender, left it with its little AM radio or your regular ordinary carrier wave radio, what they said, carrier wave,
which was why it was on the radio frequency.
Yeah, which is like they're saying radio. What the fuck is that?
I'm just glad that Spock didn't figure out right away because it's like MacGuffin. What's that sound? Sped up whale talk. What's that sound? Old code from the Voyager. So I'm glad that it actually took them some thought in order to do it, and they rolled in horror into it. So I thought, because she's supposed to be communications and the best at her job.
I mean, can you imagine having to look up the transmission codes from a NASA probe
from decades ago?
No.
What's the go code to come back to that? Anybody know that? Well, they didn't put it on fucking the internet. I know NASA puts everything out in public, but come on.
They used the Wayback Machine, that website that goes way back into all that's what they use.
But you have to understand, this is way back before the internet. This is 1979. They didn't have the internet back then. They didn't know any of that shit. It was just like mind blowing. It was like, I'll just look up the radio code and we can transmit it.
In the late 1970s, wasn't the internet just basically on college campuses, and that's where it originated from?
Yeah, it was.
I don't know the actual year that they started putting it together, but
it was like 60s or 70s.
I mean, they did have DARPA, but the internet as we know it today,
there was no World Wide Web.
Was not available to the public until like.
The servers are more 90s, isolated. They were on the campuses.
It was basically the system designed to make sure you can send off your launch codes. and we're going to put some, what do they store on the internet in the early days? Email?
Porn.
It originally, when it first came up, colleges had it so they can transfer grades and information back and forth with each other.
Okay.
And what happened is that bulletin boards, because back then there was no internet, you dialed into a bulletin board and you had basically a group of people. So what they found out is that they could piggyback off these signals at night. So when the college came up to talk to one another, the bulletin boards then would dial in and basically take over, and you could talk. And at night, it would be up for 3, 4, 5 hours, and was really kind of cool because you're in California and you could reach a bulletin board in New York without incurring a long distance call and all this other stuff. And then eventually it started to stay up longer and longer and longer. And then AOL got involved, CompuServe and whatnot. And that's how the internet started to being born. I feel lucky that I was there at the birth of it. Yes, I'm fucking old. So it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Captain, I mean, you have time travel abilities.
No, this is true.
Don't sell yourself short.
This is true. I really loved, I thought I was a speed demon when I had a Hayes compatible 300 baud modem. Don't touch me. I'm fast.
And when I was a kid, 300 baud modem is when we started at.
Yeah.
And then we jumped up to 1200 and said, "Oh, I got 1200, bitch. Fuck you."
At 14.4,
and then
you walk
14.4,
around.
and then I hit 28.8, and then 33.6, and then we plugged in and got Earthlink, and I could play Duke Nukem online. It was awesome.
Let's rock.
Oh, that was amazing. But those were the days. Makes me wonder with that carrier wave, what V'ger was doing.
Those were the days.
But as the movie started, it was nice to see them all on the screen again before they started to get,
They all look so very young.
Yeah, they did. Uhura looked awesome.
We saw Nurse Chapel.
Yeah. She was a doctor. Even though you called her a nurse, she was a chief surgeon on board. So it was nice seeing everyone in their prime. And it's kind of fucked up because you look at the show and you go like, my God, like 90% of these people are gone now.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
3
it's kind
people
of sad.
are left, right? Walter, George, and
Shatner.
Kirk. Thank you, Shatner.
Well, it was just recently the actor that played McCoy, his birthday. Even though, he's been long gone, but even Shatner tweeted out it was his, whatever birthday it was. And
Happy birthday.
It's just mind blowing. Watching the commentary for Star Trek 4 last week, there was a moment in the commentary between Shatner and Nimoy talking about Bones being gone because he's been gone he was the first one to go, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, and then you could hear Shatner have a moment about, we're here to be able to remember it, and then eventually we'll be gone. And now Nimoy's gone, and it's just Shatner now. It's just like, yeah, it's kind of sad to think about that stuff, but it trips with your head a little bit. I prefer to just celebrate the work they did because it was wonderful.
And people forget that Nimoy started as a villain in cowboy shows. He was
so did
not
McCoy.
Nimoy, not McCoy. That's what I meant. Not Nimoy.
Okay.
Was McCoy.
He
started
Kelly.
as a villain. Yep.
Yeah.
Whereas Nimoy was on Mission Impossible.
Yeah, that sounds right. And other things.
What did you think of this movie, there, Heather?
Oh, I give this a flaccid 3. It was difficult to get through, and it was on the level of like the TV show Enterprise.
So you just gave it a blue veiner.
How big was the screen that you watched it on?
Well, there were definitely blue balls. My laptop.
Okay.
How about you?
And I just, the magnitude of some of the shots in this movie, the framing of some of the shots,
Those were beautiful.
cannot be truly appreciated unless you see them on the big screen.
Well, it doesn't help that it's like really hard for me to like keep my attention here because the first half is so freaking boring.
Well, that's just it. If you're watching it on the big screen, it blows you away. The shot, they had the big, ginormous Starship porn sequence with the fly around of the Enterprise. And
that was
if you're a
cool.
Trekkie, a certain level of Trekkie, you can't watch this without getting teary-eyed.
Is that why the shots were so long? They had to give you time to jerk off before they moved on to the next part? I understand. I completely understand
Trying to explain this to Heather is going to be really difficult. Because she's just thinking I'm here to jerk off to the Starship. And I'm not here to jerk off to the Starship. I love the Starship.
Well, not only
I didn't mean to offend you.
when it was docking, it was like back that ass up, just slide.
I mean, yeah, it's slide it on in, baby. I'm still my favorite. One of my favorite shots is the shot from the rear, looking down that nacelle up at the impulse engines, right from the booty of that Enterprise. It was just a hell of a shot.
That's Patrick's favorite shot too, right from the
It's down the rear.
There's another shot. One of my favorites was looking over the shoulder of the guys in the pod, where the pod's elevating over the saucer section. Gorgeous animation work, and a lot of it, they were saying on some of the commentary I was getting to hear, they did touch up a lot of this with CG work, but some of it they didn't touch up at all because they had the original material to come back to, and all they did was modern composite it together.
So I'm assuming you gave it a high rating then. So what's your rating?
It's weird to rate it now versus then. I want to say 7 because the movies got better. This was a great start to the movie career of Star Trek. But if you watch all of them, they get better.
Wait a minute. So you're giving this a high rating based on future movies?
No. I'm not giving it a higher rating based on the future movies.
Okay.
That's where I'm at, because I've seen this movie so many times. It mesmerized me as a youngster. The idea that you send out a fucking space probe and it comes back with a big ass power source, and it envelops and digitizes starships, and and the Starship Enterprise, after that massive fly around sequence to show how big the starship is, you cut to a shot inside the cloud of V'ger, and it's this tiny little thing moving across the screen to show you how fucking huge the cloud of V'ger is. It's just, it blew my little imagination mind out of the water. It was amazing to see this movie. And the visuals didn't make any sense because I couldn't reference anything, but they were fascinating to look at. Yeah, maybe I needed to be on an acid trip, as my little child mind probably couldn't handle that either. But it was cool to watch. And then you get these cutaway shots just to the actors reacting to blinking lights because they don't have any actual visuals to react to. Some of those are kind of funny to look at. I think Sulu overdid his reactions just a tiny bit.
Well, some of this, they are going through like an ecstasy type of experience.
It's pretty wild. It's like, wow, man, that's a badass screensaver.
So what about you, Captain? What's your rating?
I'd have to give it about a 6.
Yeah.
Because in retrospect, if you had asked me what my rating was when it first came out, I probably would have gave it a 9 or a 10 because I had been in the desert with no Trek for that long. But to compare it with everything that's out there now, in retrospect, I would give it about a 6. I still love the acting that McCoy and Leonard did. I think it's awesome. And the boyish enthusiasm of Decker was nice. I did like that as well. So that's why I'm giving it a little bit higher than normal. And what about you, number 1?
I'd give it about a 7. I mean, it was, I like the whole concept about the living machine and how it, how V'ger became self-aware. And of course, the fact that man has, created his own demise by hunting whales to death.
That's a different movie.
Oh, sorry. Wrong movie.
That's the one where the other probe comes back. That's an alien probe that comes back and tries to destroy the Earth.
Probe.
Totally different.
Wrong probe.
It was so funny. It was so funny watching this with my parents, because I love watching these things with my parents still. My mother was like, "Hey, I saw this movie. We watched this movie last week." He's like, "No, it's not the same movie.
Different probe.
It's a completely different probe. This one was from V'ger. This isn't looking for whales. It's trying to destroy the Earth because it's not getting what it wants. Why are probes always coming back? And if they can't get a hold of you, just fucking blow up your planet."
Kirk has a thing with probes.
Oh, he likes being probed.
Him and probes have.
Yeah, I got my probes confused.
But what is it? They all do that. That's a common plot line in Star Trek. They send out a probe, it comes back, it doesn't get the answer it wants. Fuck this planet, I'm destroying it.
It started with Nomad. Nomad was like that too in the original series.
Yes, and that's another one that was like, wait a minute, this is like Nomad. The themes are similar throughout these movies.
It's because they've been traumatized. They don't want to be ghosted. And if you ghost them, they have like an overreaction because of past trauma.
Don't ghost your robots.
Don't ghost the probes.
we need counseling for them.
Give the probes the attention they deserve.
Yeah, play with your probe once in a while.
have the probe there, and it's like, show us where the bad Starfleet people touched you.
Oh, I hope to God Lower Decks does an episode on probes and probing.
Well, no doubt that they will. Question, what are we going to do next week? We've done 4 and 1. So
2?
I would love to do Wrath of Khan.
That would be so much fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's one of
Wrath
the
of
best Star
Khan.
Trek movies ever made.
I have to say, and we could talk about Ricardo Montalban's chest that everyone thought was fake.
His big old boobies.
Oh, the chest hair.
You thought there was some chest in this movie. Wait till you see Ricardo Montalban.
Yeah, it's really, I get behind the scenes stuff. It'd be really cool.
Does he have Robin Williams like chest hair, or is it more like,
No.
the 1970s?
It's clean.
Okay. It's clean chest hair.
You want to
Okay.
run up to it and lick it.
Yeah, it's yeah. It is awesome.
Don't even think about your sexuality. Just look at that chest. It doesn't matter. You want to lick that, right? Yeah.
No. It's dolphin smooth.
Oh my God. So the con lollipop, the con popsicle.
Yeah, it's definitely dolphin smooth. So I'm curious because there's a lot of behind the scenes information on this one, and Heather might blow a gasket looking at.
Should we even take a look at the Space Seed episode? Maybe have that be extra credit if you can afford the time.
What Space Seed episode?
That was the one that started with Khan.
Yeah, that was the one we were introduced to Khan in the original series.
So watch an original series episode first and then Khan because they're related.
Yeah. It'll go quick because it's you can fast forward through the commercials. So.
Yeah, and it's only like 40 minutes. So and then watch the movie. So we're gonna do a dual homework, people. So we're gonna watch Demon Seed.
It's not necessary. But it's good backstory. I mean, I watched Star Trek 2 not remembering the Khan episode.
Well, should we just watch the original series episode this week and then watch Wrath of Khan next week? So we're not doing it.
I don't know. Should we do it that way? Or just go for it?
Go for it.
And don't want to torture.
Are we doing 2 summaries or 1 summary?
No, we should do 2 summaries. It would be unfair for one person to do both.
Okay, then let's split it up into 2 weeks.
What?
Okay, so we'll do Demon Seed next week. And then
Wrath of Khan the week after.
Wrath of Khan.
Space Seed,
Demon
sir.
Seed.
It's Space
Demon
Seed.
Speed. It's the
Demon
Seed.
Space Seed, same thing.
No, it's totally
I like
different.
Patrick's name better.
And you can see Ricardo Montalban in his prime, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
cool.
Space Seed.
It'll be interesting to hear Heather's opinion on that one.
Yeah. All right. Before the dots come back in and mess with the communications, I'm surprised they let the podcast go out.
You know what? When they change over your red alert sound effect, I that will always bother me. I love what they did with the motion picture with all the redos and cleaning it up and bringing it up in the 4K. But the sound effects aren't the same ones I grew up with.
No, they changed it just like the dots messed up our sound effects.
Yeah.
So, and they made me sound like a Cylon, assholes.
They got a big kick out of that.
Yeah, I was not a happy camper. Okay, everybody, thank you for joining us for another great week of Starfleet Underground. Remember, next week we're going to be doing Space Seed, the original series with Ricardo Montalban. And if you want to get a jump after that, we're going to do Wrath of Khan, which rates with among Star Trek people, it's like the best. So everybody have a really, really careful and what? No, there's no, I don't know if there's another season of Big Fat Phlox.
They still have to finish the first one.
You haven't finished even the first one.
Oh, they finished it. Now they're watching it again.
The thing is, how many episodes did they make for the first one versus nowadays when they make only 10 episodes for a series versus 20?
Yeah, I think it's 10 episodes because it's a new show.
They want more episodes.
Fat Phlox.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
How you binged watch that many already? Oh, Section 31's here. No, there is no more. You watched all the episodes while we're doing the podcast.
They had it on the 1.5 speed or whatever.
Oh my God.
If John Billingsley knew how long this joke would be lasting on our podcast, he may not have told us about old Fat Phlox.
Dude, it's going to be 5 years later and we're still going to be talking about it.
It's going to be the 10-year anniversary of Old Fat Phlox.
Old Fat Phlox.
We're going to up-res it to 4K.
Yeah,
Old Fat Phlox in 4K. Nobody wants to see that.
We're going to get professional sound writers to
Oh, God.
So
we're the
everybody,
podcast with the Tribbles and Dots and Old Fat Phlox.
Phlox.
Old Fat Phlox.
So thank you, everybody, for joining us. And please remember, just don't have a great week, but make it so.
And if you can, support the show by going to patreon.com/Starfleet Underground. Lots of perks to choose from, and you might even like some of them. Starfleet Underground, beaming into a podcast feed near you. Log on to our website at starfleetunderground.com and send your comments and questions to thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Follow us on Twitter at StarfleetUnderG and on Facebook and Instagram, we're Starfleet Underground.
Well, there you go. Stay tuned next week for another episode of Old Fat Phlox.
Old Fat Phlox, he's a sitting on a box at the junction, Denobulan Junction.